Hey everyone, this is Haley from Cartooners, and this is exactly what you think it is, a RWBY video. I got into the show pretty recently, and let me just say that I absolutely love it. I've become very passionate about the world of Remnant and all its characters. I'm only disappointed that I did not watch the show sooner. Yes, the show does have its flaws, but I always try to focus on the more positive aspects of the show that make me excited and want to keep watching. Which brings me to one of my favorite characters in the entire series, Jaune. Just a warning that if you don't like Jaune, this is probably not the video for you to watch. But don't worry, as I'll be making more RWBY videos in the future. So, there's a lot of things I like about this character, but most of all is seeing just how much he has grown since the beginning of the show. In the beginning, he was quite unlikable, but he's definitely changed for the better. This includes him getting not only an upgraded weapon, but also the reveal of his semblance. But another part of why I like him so much is that he has a lot of qualities that I find quite relatable. He started out at Beacon knowing practically nothing, yet through persevering has learned so much. And feeling inadequate about being let into a certain place is definitely relatable. Although to be fair, Jaune did literally cheat his way in, so there's that. But there might actually be some importance to that, which I'll get into later. But regardless of your views of him as a character, it is clear that Jaune has become a lot stronger since we first met him. In fact, this video centers around Jaune potentially being one of the strongest characters in the show and having more importance than might initially be believed. Which is of course by itself a very ridiculous thought. Jaune is the epitome of an average character. Not only looks wise, but he even has a sword and a shield instead of a weapon that's also a gun. And at the beginning of the series, he was constantly being saved and taught by Pyrrha, showing just how unexperienced he was. But what he does have more than any other character is natural talents and abilities that allow him to quickly catch up to and even surpass some of his peers. In Volume 1, Chapter 6, The Emerald Forest, we learn that Jaune literally knows nothing about aura. Pyrrha teaches him the basics and then unlocks his. We also learn that he has a lot of aura. And at first, he is pretty terrible when it comes to combat training. But then, in Forever Fall Part 2, when he needs to save his friends from an Ursa, he kills it with one swing of his sword. All it really took was his friends that believed in him. After that, he is pretty consistent with being able to defend himself and kill Grimm. Of course, his sword could simply be super sharp, but his strength definitely has something to do with it. And in the tournament arc, he even launched Pyrrha super high into the air with his shield. So we know that he quickly gets really strong, even more so than characters known for strength that have been training their whole lives for this. What about speed? Well, with his upgraded sword, he can now swing fast enough to create gusts of wind. This is of course in Volume 4, so he's been training for a while, but regardless, he has definitely caught up to everyone else. Another thing that he is naturally inclined at is being a strategist. Figuring out ways to defeat an enemy is definitely a good thing for a leader. He didn't always feel like a good fit for the role, but once the position was thrust upon him, he managed to make it work. Now let's talk about his aura. As Pyrrha told us long ago, he has a lot of it. His aura has never been broken, unlike pretty much every other character. But that's not all. Carden literally punches Jaune in the face in Forever Fall Part 2. And not only does Carden have to wince back in pain from Jaune's aura blocking the punch, but Jaune's bruise is gone after activating his aura at that moment. This is very similar to how he gets healed when he unlocks his aura for the first time and his cut is healed. Aura in general has the power to do this, but his goes above and beyond from what we have seen from everyone else in the show. And finally, there is his semblance, which has the potential to bring him to a more overpowered state than before. I have not been in the RWBY fandom for long, but apparently in the official game Grim Eclipse, Jaune's semblance was more or less spoiled. The game calls these ultimates, and Jaune is able to create a multiplier for his team that boosts things such as speed, damage given, and can even heal. The damage given boost can even go up to 100% once it has been upgraded. This makes him quite overpowered to say the least. Yet here we are in the show recently learning that his semblance is in fact aura amplification, which has a striking resemblance to his ultimate. There's a lot of speculation currently on what exactly his semblance entails, but as we have seen, being able to boost not only a teammate's aura, but also the strength of their semblance is incredibly useful. It can also be used on himself, which he has unknowingly been doing before he officially unlocked it. So let's take the one example we have seen in the show of his semblance being used on others. This is of course in Volume 5 when Weiss gets impaled and almost dies. Jaune officially unlocked his semblance as he struggled to save her, and we can see his aura help strengthens her, so she is able to heal from her life-threatening wound with no scar left. Compare this to Weiss getting hurt in the White trailer, where this scar she received being a permanent feature on her face from this moment forward. Back to her aura being boosted by Jaune, she is now able to summon a Lancer Queen, which is a much harder feat than simply summoning a regular Lancer, and she was able to summon it extremely fast. The abilities of her aura being amplified temporarily are extremely evident, so there is no saying what else Jaune may be able to do for the abilities of his other teammates. And over time it could grow even stronger, with him being able to amplify the aura of his whole team instead of just one person at a time while being very close to them. Most importantly of all, he has a lot of aura, so this does not weaken him too much even after helping heal another person from near death. So, all these things combined make for an extremely powerful warrior. Now then, it is quite confusing why he never went to combat school like everyone else despite wanting to always become a hunter like his ancestors. If he had had the training that everyone else did, he could have been on the same level as Pyrrha when he went to Beacon. I don't want to get into why his parents never taught him about being a hunter or why he didn't learn even about aura from whatever school he went to in this video. But I admit that there are some major plot holes concerning that and his family history. But I definitely am curious as to why he was let into Beacon, even if he did fake his transcripts. I believe that Ozpin knew that there was something about Jaune that made him special. Oz has been around for a long time, meaning that he most likely knew the Arc family, especially since they fought in the Great War. But I think it goes even deeper than that. As we know, the Great War ended 80 years before the start of the show. This end was brought about by the Warrior King, who was from Vale. His army managed to defeat Mantle and Mistral's forces, and it was even said that he killed countless lives all by himself. After this battle, a treaty was formed by the Four Kingdoms. In addition, the Warrior King founded the Huntsman Academies and made his most trusted followers the headmasters of them. Many speculate that Ozpin could even have been the Warrior King himself, or one of the original headmasters since we know he helped to form Haven Academy. But it has also been stated that Ozpin influenced all the academies, and we know he has appointed headmasters like Leo Lionheart, so it is likelier that he was actually the Warrior King. But bringing things back to Jaune, there's also a theory that he is a direct descendant of the Warrior King. Tying these two theories together, it could mean that the reincarnation of Ozpin is Jaune's great-grandfather, meaning Oz would definitely know who Jaune was. One reason for believing that Jaune descends from such an important figure is his sword, Crocea Amores. This was the name of Julius Caesar's sword, which when translated means Yellow Death. In legends, it was said that anyone that was struck by this sword died, which is like what is said about the Warrior King's abilities. Looking at the sword, it's not exactly the same as the Warrior King's weapons, but it's intriguing nonetheless since we know this is a family heirloom. In addition, in the Volume 1 opening, we see a statue of a man holding up a sword. This could also be the Warrior King, despite the long hair not being there. Or the guess about Jaune being related to the Warrior King is incorrect, but the statue still does show his ancestor, who is yet to be named. As we can see in the opening, the camera angle shows Jaune looking up to the statue in a bit of a sad manner, showing that he probably wishes to be like this one day. But if this theory is true, then it means that Oz was either an ancestor of Jaune at one point, or was very close to his ancestor, meaning that there is a legitimate reason why Jaune, a member of the Arc family, could get into Beacon even if he did fake his transcripts. All it took was one look at Jaune to know exactly what family he came from. Similarly, Tyrion likely knew Jaune's importance or lineage as well.
You do interest me.
Which is why he took such an interest in the boy after only a glance. And this is also why Jaune was forced to become a leader. Ozpin knew about Jaune's family and saw his potential to become a leader, whether Jaune wanted to or not. This explains why Jaune is suddenly getting so powerful. He's not just some random boy who decided to become a huntsman. He's descended from a line of powerful warriors, perhaps even one of the strongest humans ever, and has a lot of untapped potential. All he had to do was start training to become better. If he had come into the show with the same amount of experience as everyone else, this would be a much different story, and he might have had to get killed off like Pyrrha did early on because of how overpowered she was. Now with all that said, what do I think is in store for Jaune in the future? Well, that is a tough call because there are so many ways it could go. We already know he has potential to be a leader, but perhaps he'll become a king of some sorts, or maybe he'll become a famous huntsman. He could possibly even become part of the key to defeating Salem, although that is more likely tied to RWBY. But perhaps they will work together to defeat her, along with the rest of their teams. As a bit of a tangent, I'm not too experienced with anime, but I've heard in many shows that the main character goes from being very weak to super strong by the end. So I suppose this is not too different with Jaune, except for the fact that he is not the main focus of the show. RWBY is. This definitely causes some backlash with the fans who want the one with the most growth to be the character the show is named after, not some character from the second most important team. But I still love Jaune as a character, and I can't wait to see where the show takes him. Hopefully Volume 6 will give him some more screen time than Volume 5 did. So that's pretty much the end of this third video, but don't leave yet. Let me know what RWBY video you'd like me to make next. There is a ton to talk about regarding this show, although most of the big theories regarding events in Volume 5 have already had videos made for them, but let me know your thoughts. If this is your first time here and you enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe and click the notification bell to be the first to know about any new RWBY videos I create. Also feel free to join the Cartooniverse Discord. We have a RWBY section and I love talking to people about this show. You will need a special role to access this chat, so ask a mod or admin if you'd like to join. Thank you for all our patrons who help support me making videos like this and trying on new shows, and thanks for watching and have an animated day.